Hey traders, John Howell here, and in this video I'm going to be just going over the charts in this video and just give you a bit of a technical analysis of what's really going on right now technically wise and what the charts are saying. I'm going to be looking at the small picture such as the daily charts, and then I'll be going out to the much larger picture such as the weeklies and monthly charts as well too, to share with you what I'm seeing, what's happening on those sort of fronts as well too. Plus I'm going to be sharing with you the one market that I believe is set to have one of the greatest booms we've seen in a long time. And I believe that maybe, just maybe, this market will outdo the Bitcoin bubble that we saw when it got to 20,000. So maybe that's going to happen. I don't know, but I'm going to share with you that one market that I believe is going to make a big move. So let's go straight into it. Don't place a trade based on what you'll see in this video, because there is no guarantees of making a profit in the market. It takes you a long time to become a good trader. So this video here is just to educate you to become a much better trader. Alrighty traders, so let's actually get straight into the market update. I'm going to start with the indices first: Dow Jones, S&P, and the Nasdaq. And then I'll get into GDX, GDXJ, I'll get into silver and gold, and I'll get into some other markets as well too. And once again, share with you the one market that I believe is going to make a big move. So looking at let's actually start with the Dow Jones first. The Dow Jones, if we look at what's happening here with the Dow Jones, if I take this off the screen, actually, let me just bring this up through here. If I bring this up through here, we can see how there's a very big, strong sort of resistance line coming down through there on the Dow Jones. The thing that we're noticing right now on this very short-term basis is that, one, we're hitting this level of resistance through here. But if we go and have a look at this, we're seeing that the market is still making this is a low, this is a higher low, same through here, higher low. It's a bit of an equal double bottom. So we could actually be forming another high low. You know, the whole adage, and actually some of one of my private clients just said just recently, you know, the trend is your friend until the end, or the trend into your friend until it's not the trend anymore. And right now we could just be getting another higher low through here. We haven't got that yet, but if we do get another high low and we start to break up and out above this level through here, then we could start to see a big move. We could start to see a nice move, moving up towards the highs up through there. Now guys, one thing I'm going to share with you here is what the small picture is saying. So what may be happening right now in the next couple of days, maybe the next week or so. I'm also going to be sharing with you the longer time frame charts, which takes probably maybe a couple of years to unfold. Make sense, guys? So some people say, because what I'm about to share with you, I know what the longer term charts are saying, and that what I'm saying here is that this short term, I don't know what's going to happen, but we are still stepping up. So the buyers are still in control. Even though we get pullbacks, guys, even though we get these sideways and these pullbacks through here, does not mean the trend has changed. As long as we keep making these, as long as we keep doing this, which is higher lows and higher highs, as long as these lows are higher than the previous high, than the previous low, the buyers are in control, and we can never fight that. And when you see on the Nasdaq, you'll see how most people have been trying to fight the Nasdaq have been doing that and going against this one simple thing, which is, if the momentum is in the upward trend right now, where it's swinging to the upside, don't be trying to fight that. Just, you know, simply just don't try and fight that. So we can see that's what's going on, right? So it's very sort of tricky through there. Now, if I'm looking on, say, a weekly chart basis, I can see how that there's sort of like an area through here where the market's having a lot of issues. And if I bring up like a bit of a band, a bit of an area on this weekly chart basis, we can see how that this is where the Dow Jones is having a lot of problems. It's through this area from as low as these resistance levels back through here, and then we have these resistance levels back through sort of here as well too. And if I bring up the actual sort of, let's say, as you can see, from 27,000 up to 27,500, that sort of area through there is having a lot of problems, a lot of resistance where it is right now. So that's where it's struggling on that longer term time frame chart. So on the shorter term, we're holding through here. If we start to break above the 27,500, then we have a really good chance of actually breaking up to all-time new high. So it's going to be really interesting to see which way they take this. Do they actually start to break down? Now, if they do start to break this down, The line in the sand when the buyers are no longer in control, because remember I said before, right? The trend is your friend until the end, or the trend is your friend until it's not. Where would be the first sign of the buyers now not in control anymore? Remember, the buyers are in control right now because the market's stepping higher. Well, in an upward trend, if the market makes a higher low, this is a higher low. The market makes a higher low like this. This is a high low. So if the market comes back down and starts to break this previous low, it's no longer making higher lows, right? Because the market goes up. Now this is a lower low. So this could be a sign. This could be a sort of a sign that the sellers are starting to come back in the market. And so if we start to get, and let me just make this sort of like I'll go back to a blue. This level through here, which is around the 27,000 or 25,000, that's that line in the sand. If the Dow Jones for some reason starts to break down like this here, then we have a high, a lower high if that does happen, and now we're breaking this low. That tells me now the sellers are now coming in control on this daily charts, and then we're now likely to see some further downward movement. We drop down here, rallies back up, probably sellers are likely to kick back in and then and knock it back down. So that's the thing you want to watch out for on the daily charts. If we do start to see a bit of a sell-off, this is that low that you don't want the market to go below. If it does, the buyers are no longer in control and we're no longer in this upward trend. So that's what I'm seeing through there. Now, on an absolute major long-term basis, this is something that I saw recently, and I'm just, oh, that's actually pretty powerful. Let me just bring this chart over to you. Actually, let me bring this chart over to you now. I'm gonna bring this here. This is a chart that I noticed on the Dow Jones, on the Dow Jones, and also on the monthly charts. Looking at the line now, this is I think it's called log. It's a different scaling than just the normal scaling. But if I look at this, let me take everything off the screen here for a minute. Look at what I'm seeing through here on this sort of long-term monthly line chart. Notice how we actually had a lot of problems around that, where it is right now. A lot of problems. And then notice how we popped back up to the upside and we had this little last hooray. Now this is a monthly chart, by the way, guys, right? So this thing takes many months for it to even give a little blip on the screen. So we've just finished July. So it's going to take all of August to then complete this line, isn't it? To complete another sort of movement in this line chart. So the interesting thing is, like, is this the last little hooray in the markets before we start to see a movement down? Because you can see that's exactly what happened back here in the tech bubble. See how the market did? The market rallied up. We had this last little hooray. It sort of mucked around a little bit, and then we eventually started doing what? In a downward trend. So we can see that through there, and we can see this is the last hooray. This is, maybe the market loves to do this at tops and bottoms of markets. So the key that you want to watch out for on a macro scale, if we're going to start to see an overall massive downward trend overall on, let's say, the monthly charts for the next, and that's going to be more of like a couple of years sort of thing, then the first thing we do see, as I was saying before, was the higher lows. So we have these higher lows going all the way up through here. And then we have this higher low. Notice that we had this lower low through here. So there's actually a really good chance over the next 6 months, we're likely to see this monthly chart do something like this. Now, remember what I just said there, guys, okay? This is the monthly charts here. This is something much bigger. The daily chart can go up for a week or two right now. Makes sense? And then it may not do nothing for a week or two, or maybe not do much, and then start to see a sell-off maybe 1 or 2 or 3 months later. And this still could start to form. Makes sense, guys? So this is a long-term monthly line charts that's going to take many months for it to start to complete this, if this is some sort of maybe shoulder, head, shoulder, and maybe this is going to be the classic final little false breakout end of trend move before we start to see. If this is what I'm seeing here right now, and we do start to see, because I want to see confirmation in this line through here, that if we do start to see where it is right now, even if and once again, guys, on the daily charts, we can get a little movement up, right? We can get some movement up. We can have a nice week or two move up and rally up here for a little bit, and then suddenly we get a bit of a sell-off, and guess where the monthly chart is? Here. But over this next 5 months of the rest of the over the next 5 months of the rest of this year, if we start to see this pointing down through here and we start to come back down and we start to see this, that is a massive warning sign that the market is saying this is one major topping pattern. And then guess what 2021 and 2022 is going to be like? Something like this. Make sense? And we're going to get that. Now, again, this is monthly swings. So we could go down for 1 or 2 months and then pull back for 2 or 3 months, not do much, and then go down for another. That's the swings in this long-term monthly chart. So, but this is a very big sort of warning sign that we may be forming one massive top through here, and this little bounce we're getting all through here, we may just be, but once again, by looking at this line chart, we may just be in the mix of seeing a massive sort of one last hooray in the markets. And this move through here, if I bring up, let me bring up something through, I want to share with you an image that I think is going to be, so I'm going to bring up, look at this image here. So if I bring up this image, which is the stock market cycle, right now, we can see how we have this stock market cycle. The question that I have for you guys is what I'm sharing with you right now in this long-term monthly charts. This section through here where we had this drop. Do you think this is the thing we're looking at right now? Complacency, we need to just cool off, ready for the next rally? Question mark. Are we getting ready for something that looks like this? Are we getting ready for that? So, to me, I believe we are, but again, I can't trade based on what I just believe. I always trade based on a system, but on a long-term basis, that's actually looking quite interesting when looking at that. Now let's move over to, let me go back to, where is my blank chart? Okay, cool, blank chart. So just a blank chart, and as you can see, traders, that whenever I'm viewing my charts, people say, where's your moving averages? Where's your blah, blah, blah? Traders, one of the most important things we can do as a trader is, one of the most important things to do is to read the markets. The moving averages is not going to tell us. The most important thing, to me, rule number one is trend analysis. Is what's going on right now with what I've been explaining in this video. What's the trend? Is it up? Is it down? Have we been an upward trend, but now we may be breaking these lows through here? What does that mean? Are we starting to change the trend? And we just flow with the market that way. This is the most important thing to us. Then maybe if you want to start to, bring on a moving average and see what the moving average is doing. But the most important thing is the market. Because as you can see, if I bring up, because a lot of people say, oh, well, it's the direction of the moving average and blah, 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 all this sort of stuff. But as you can see, right, as we came down through, as we had this crashing movement, look at this. We came down, had this lower low, lower high. Who's in control? Sellers. The market came down, came back up. Look what happened here. We had down and we popped back up. What's this? High, low, breaker past previous highs. Now the trend is where? The trend is now changed. We went from sellers in control to now buyers in control. And this is the reason why we need to have an adaptive mentality to the markets and not be so focused on moving averages or any indicator for that matter. The rule number one is always trend. What's going on right now? And then, because that's the most important thing, as I was saying through there. Moving on through to the SP500. It's doing something similar to the Dow Jones, but but also a bit different. Similar as it's not really doing much for the last sort of few weeks. But as you can see that we are really, if I bring up my trend lines, we're still in this very long-term upward trend, and we are just almost at the highs. Now, are we going to run for the highs? Let me know what you think below. Or are we going to fail through here? The key for me to see that is this going to be a bit of a failing period is where it's at right now. And so what I mean by that is this. As we can see, if I go back to the previous high through there, I can see that this last high point on the S&P, this last high point came up. See how it's actually finding a lot of support now. So there's only two different scenarios this is going to do. If this is sort of a last sort of false breakout before we start to see a down move, we would see a drop below. If we see it open and a drop below and a close below 3,200, then this right here is a classic sort of false breakout, and away we go. I'm not saying that's going to happen, guys. I don't know. I'm just giving you the analysis of what I'm seeing right now. So if we do see something like this, something like that, then guess what? Classic false breakout, and then I say we would have a target, if that happens, around the $3,000 level. If we do hold and we continue to do something like this, and we break up, then we're probably likely to then run. In that case, we're probably likely to go for a run and break up to all-time new highs, and probably even get up to an all-time new high. Because there's people that are short, it's probably a lot of stops up here. So if we do go for a run, they're going to run those stops, and we're probably going to break up to an all-time new high from there. So that's what I'm seeing through there on the S&P. And on the Nasdaq has continued to be on a very big upward trend basis. As you can see, let me just take that off the screen. As you can see, let me bring up the sort of last 1 year. You can see that once again, the trend is your friend until the end. And as you can see, no matter what has happened, high lows, high lows, high lows, all the way up, high low, bit of a double bottom, and now we're just breaking up. So I would not be too surprised to see this little cooling off period to go and Nasdaq start to do this again. Nasdaq is on a rampage to the upside. Some of these major tech stocks out there, including the Nasdaq, are in a melt up phase right now, and it's in a bubble phase. The problem with bubbles is you never know when it's going to definitely end. So people that have been trying to say, the Nasdaq's overvalued, Nasdaq bubble and that sort of stuff, to me right now, I believe we're probably likely to continue this bubble that we're in right now, and don't be trying to short it. Just because something is in a bubble doesn't mean it's not going to continue a lot longer. Bitcoin was in a bubble at 15, 16,000. Then it went to 17,000, then 18,000, then 19,000, then 20,000. That's what I believe what's happening right now in the Nasdaq, and I believe we have a lot more for that to come. Now, obviously, traders, anything can happen when it comes to that. So you just want to keep in mind and keep adapting to what these markets and what the market is telling you, as in what I'm sort of teaching you in this video when it comes to your trend analysis strategies. And that's why I recommend having no grid lines in the back, no sort of up and down vertical lines, just a white background with the actual candlesticks or the bars, whatever you like to use. And then start to analyze, okay, what's going on right now? And as the market starts to unfold, then you want to analyze it. So right now, the buyers are in control. If the Nasdaq for some reason stops right here, just stops, and then we start to see something like this and we break below this low through here, well, guess what? What does that mean? Oh, we're starting to change. And that means now we've had maybe a bit of a rounding top formation. I'm not saying this is going to happen, but you need to look at what the market is doing, and we need to adapt to that situation. So if that happens, we're breaking past this low through here. If that happens, then now the sellers are in. Now there's a bit of a rounding top. Sellers in control. We're probably likely to start to see a move down, and that move down would be roughly, or at least on a lease basis. If we did start to see that, then this would be some sort of an end of trend type of thing, the bubble ending, so to speak. And then if we can use a conservative basis, which is a Fibonacci tool, and we go from the low all the way through to the high point, and if we do start to see that, then I'd see a retracement back down to probably around the 50% level, because we are definitely in a bit of a bubble here. But again, this bubble can continue, so I wouldn't want to be shorting it right now, because this thing can just keep going up. The buyers are still in control. Yes, we're not doing much for a period of time, but the overall buyers are still in control. If we do get the breakdown, we're probably likely to get down to around that, say, $9,000 level. Now let's move over to silver and gold. Let's start off with gold first. The first thing about gold is that we have continued to be in a bit of a stampede to the upside. Gold has already made its best moves. Gold is already, to me right now, gold is now gold is something that I'm not looking at for me personally. If we get a very nice deep pullback, I believe gold is going to be really good over the next couple of years. I do believe that, but that's just what I believe. Anything can happen. Right now, I believe that we're going to be getting some form of a pullback. And the reason why I say that is that, yes, we're in a bit of an upward trend. Yes, we're in this thing we're in a pullback through here, but there's this something called, the market being too stretched. And something, as you can see through here, by using the moving average, now I'm using trend analysis, but by using the moving average, you can see, okay, are we too stretched? Are we not? And as you can see that when the market gets too far away from the 52, this is a 52 moving average, it gets back to the moving average. Gets too far away, gets back to the moving average. Too far away, we get back to the moving average. Get back to the moving average. So look at this here. We are in the last sort of 2 years, we are the furthest away in the last 2 years. Now, it doesn't mean we're going to stop right now today and go back. We could continue up for a little bit longer and then come back. But right now, as I speak, the probability of at least even on a short-term basis, would be very, very risky jumping in this right now because we've already made a massive move. There's probably going to be some profit taking coming in gold. So gold is something I'm not really interested in when looking at that at all. Moving on now through to silver. Silver has indeed massive, massive move to the upside. Big, big, big explosion to the upside. And I truly believe overall that this here is the start of a big sort of bull trend in silver. So what I truly see with silver is exactly what it's doing here right now. And I did a video a few days ago saying we're probably going to get some sort of a pullback soon out of silver, bit of a sideways movement, bit of a resting phase. And as you can see, we're starting to get this sort of sideways movement right now in silver. For me personally, I'm already long term. I'm already in silver for long term. But I would like to trade it on a short-term basis. I'd like to see a little bit more of this and then start to see a bit of a pickup. And then from that, I'd probably trade it on a short-term basis. But I want to see a lot more of a pullback through here. If we go have a look at that weekly charts though, we can see how this bottom period through here. Okay, so this bottom period all through here, we didn't do much, and now we're just breaking to the upside. So we're breaking to the upside. So this is telling me now we're just starting to break out. So this is just the start of what I believe is an all-time new high for silver coming. So I would love to see this personally for me, and then start to see a very nice sort of break up when it comes to the silver price through there. So that's what I'm seeing through there. And then also moving on through to the GDX and the GDXJ, I'll just look at the long-term pictures through here. Same for the GDX, as I was saying for silver. We have just started to break out of this massive sideways range through there. We had a little bit of a false breakout to the downside, but this was the channel. And now we're just breaking to the upside. Overall, we're going for a big move. So I see all-time new highs coming for the GDX and then also the GDXJ. Now, I promised I was going to mention to you guys the number one market that I believe is going to make the biggest moves out of the whole lot. And out of all these right now, number one on my list is GDXJ. We are just starting to break out of this level through here. We have done nothing for this time, and we're just starting to break out now. If I had a gun to my head and someone said, John, you got to take all your money you got and you got to put it in one stock and hold it for the next 2 years, what would that be? And that would be GDXJ. But right now I wouldn't want to be getting involved with it, but I'd love to see. I want to get into it. I'm not in GDXJ right now, but due to the fact we're just starting to break out, we're above 50, we're at 60 now. This is the first sign. That the buyers are now starting to pick up. And so over the next 2 years, we're likely to see some really, really, really exciting price action out of the GDXJ. And once again, I do see an all-time new high coming in the GDXJ. That's going to be really, really, really exciting to see what this has got to offer there. So the greatest bull, one of the greatest bull markets that I see, that I believe we're likely to see. So gold's already had a very big move. So I can't mention that in this video because it's already been done and gone. But I believe silver would be second on the list. GDXJ would be my number one on the list as well too. But remember guys, this is a weekly chart, and in bull trends, just like gold did in bull trends, guys, if you look and position yourself for many years to come and you say, I'm going to capitalize on the big bull market that's going to come, just have your expectations of what a bull market is. It goes for a big run, and then we have a bit of a cooling off period. We go for a big run, and then we have a cooling off period. We go for a big run, and then we don't do much, and then we go for a big run. So this is what we're going to expect out of silver, out of the GDXJ, and so on and so forth. So don't be FOMOing into the market, trying to jump in right now. Quickly. It's going to take off. I'm going to miss out. No. All right, what's that? No FOMO, okay? FOMO, no FOMO, okay? Be patient. There's going to be plenty of time. Just like gold. When gold broke out, guess what? Then we had a very nice pullback, and then we went for a big run. And then we had a bit of a flush down, and then we had a big run. And the whole key here is no FOMO, number one. And then number two, your expectation is that when you're in the trade, one, your expectation is that you're going to be in it for, you're going to be in quite some time. But even when you're in the trade, just say for example, you get in down here, and then the market rallies up, and it's been going up for 6-7 months, and then suddenly we get a big flush down, and then now you're at the same price here 12 months later. Don't be freaking out. Okay, don't be freaking out. Obviously, have some sort of a stop in place that you know your maximum risk that you're willing to accept on that position there. But don't be freaking out. Okay, that's just your expectation must be, okay, I'm going to get into this. This is the way the markets work. We're going to get into a big bull market. The bull market has already started, I believe. And so no FOMO, wait for a good time, wait for a nice little pullback, wait for a resting phase. It's going to be the best time to get into the trades, especially if you're trading options, all right, for a very long term. The options are going to be much better when you start to get into these phases through here than anything else. And then your expectations should be, when I'm in this trade, I'm going to hold it for 2 or 3 years. That's going to be what my sort of projection. And within those 2 or 3 years, I know I'm going to be getting something like this. Makes sense? So just don't be freaking out and be patient within the trade. So there we go, guys. This is a bit of a technical analysis roundup. Something a bit different that I always try to change things up in this channel. If you really like this, guys, give this video a thumbs up, and also subscribe to the video, and let me know what you think about some of the stuff that I've said in this video. Do you agree? Do you disagree? And so on and so forth. So anyway, guys, have a great day and get ready, because it's going to be an amazing week ahead. Hey traders, John Howell here. Thanks for watching my video. For a limited time only, I am giving away free access to my brand new trading course. I've put all my most powerful systems, strategies, and trading techniques that I've learned over the last 15 years and put it in this course, and I'm giving it away for free for a limited time. See, in this brand new Go to the Markets by the Board trading course, and you can get it when you go to johnsfreegift.com, you're going to learn, firstly, you're going to get access to a brand new training course for 90 minutes, and you're going to learn all the details step by step to my #1 trading system with over a 90% success rate that works on any market and any time frame. You're also going to learn 3 powerful chart reading and trading techniques. You're also going to learn 2 more powerful trading systems, and also you're going to learn 7-figure trading secrets, mindset techniques, and so much more. There's top 13 mistakes you're going to learn, the 10K per month formula, and so much more. No, this is not a get rich quick scheme, but if you are struggling with your trading right now and you need help, then for a limited time, you can get free access to this. So go to johnsfreegift.com right now, or click on the very first thing in the description, because for a limited time, I'm giving away. So go to johnsfreegift.com right now and start getting access to this full complete trading course, plus also the free training with my #1 trading system with over 90% success rate. Go do that right now, and I'll see you on the next page.